Hi there, fans and friends. This is going to be a short video today. I know I haven't been around a lot. My allergies have been kicking me for a couple of weeks now. I want to do a quick review actually of the New Jersey Renaissance Festival. Look, see, there's the map. I haven't done one, I don't think, in a few years because people have mentioned that since I have supported the fair, that when I give a good review, it's biased because, you know, I have a brick there with my name on it. But just to let you know, the brick has a spelling error. So does that count for something? No, I'm not kidding. It does. It has a spelling error, which I kind of find funny. But anyway, so I decided to do a quick review. I went yesterday to the Renaissance Festival, and I know it's weird. I tend not to go after Memorial Day happens, but I was supposed to go to DC the week before Memorial Day, and then that got canceled because of drama. What else is new? And that's too long a story to go into. But I didn't go that weekend, and so on Memorial Day weekend I usually don't go anywhere, even though this was the first time in 15 years that I have not had to go to work on Memorial Day weekend. I decided to stay home, and a good thing too, because that's when I got really sick with my sinuses, which you can still kind of hear a little bit. But anyway, so I went yesterday to the New Jersey Renaissance Festival, and lucky me, it was the love and romance weekend, and we all know how much I really can't stand stuff like that. But anyway, I went. I'm gonna give a quick review of a couple of things, and then I'm gonna like delve into the one thing that bothered me a little bit. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, there's a big difference between the New Jersey Fair and the Tuxedo Fair in New York. And there's a reason why I like the New Jersey Fair a little bit more, and that's because every year the New Jersey Fair is a different story. I've gone to the Tuxedo Fair, I want to say a good 30 years now, and it's been the same fair to the point that I can more or less recite the story. Where the New Jersey Renaissance Festival, they have it set up where the kingdom that you're in is on a crossroads, and the crossroads lead people to them, and they could be from different time periods, different themes. And so, I mean, we've had pirates and, you know, the swashbuckling, and we've had Shakespeare was a theme one year. And so that makes it a little more interesting because you're not dealing with the same stuff over and over again. This year, I really was looking forward to this one because this was Queen Elizabeth I, who, for those of you who know me, know my slight obsession with the Tudors and with their history, and with Queen Elizabeth specifically because she was such a strong woman, and she was smart, and she knew how to manipulate. And I know that may not sound like a quality to have, but when you're ruler of Britain, especially during the 1500s, 1600s, you need to have that quality in order to survive. And this was a story of how Elizabeth shows up in this kingdom, and I keep wanting to say the kingdom's name, and I keep thinking I'm going to get it wrong, so I don't say it. And I've been going so many years, I should know by now what the name of the kingdom is, but I don't. Anyway, so she shows up, and who follows her but all of her suitors. And I really like how they integrated history, and they made it interesting by having, and yes, I am looking at notes. First of all, they had the Ottoman Empire. Two princes from the Ottoman Empire came to, two princes and a princess, I'm sorry, there was three, came to get her hand for their father, and she would become the second wife of the king of the Ottoman Empire. And you know, it was nice to see that they were including the Ottoman Empire in things. And then they had the Spanish contingent, and they had a guy there who was representative for the Spanish king. And for those of you who know your history, you know that Spain already tried to make an alliance a couple of times with the Tudors, and it didn't really work out. So I like seeing the Spanish contingent there. I'm also saying that because there was a guy there who was playing a Spanish conquistador, and oh my God, was he hot. And if I had on my KT persona that day, I probably would have flirted with him a lot more when I was walking out the door, because my God, did he have amazing eyes. But unfortunately, I was in my normal mode and I wasn't in KT mode. And so all I did was smile shyly and leave. And I could be so pathetic sometimes. So anyway, if he happens to be watching this, feel free to contact me. It's very easy to find KT Pinto on the internet. Just saying. I'm sure everyone else will contact me as well, but that's okay. Anyone can contact me. That's why I have KT Pinto everywhere. Anyway, so that was the Spanish contingent. And then they had the Swedish contingent, and the Swedish king came himself with his 2 daughters, and their chant was Swedish fish, which I found hysterical. But anyway, and that was the theme of this year. And that was fine. It was a nice, easygoing theme. They also had Robert Dudley there, who anyone who knows their history knows that there was something going on between Elizabeth and Robert Dudley. He was master of the horse, and history can't prove it, but history can't prove a lot about Elizabeth and her trysts. She was a virgin queen, but she was virgin not in the sense of the Christian hasn't had sex before marriage virgin. She was a virgin in the sense of the ancient Greek virgin goddess of not married. Virgin means not married. Doesn't mean a virgin. Just so you know. So Robert Dudley was included in this, and he kept slipping up and calling her Bess and things like that. So the accuracy of the characters was very good. Also, Christopher Marlowe was there, and I got a couple of pictures. He was nice to look at too, just saying. Not as nice as the Conquistador. I really like that Conquistador. But anyway, there were a couple of things. If ever you go to the New Jersey Renaissance Fair, there's a couple of things you definitely have to see. First of all, you have to see Jacques the Whipper. Yes, Jacques the Whipper. Oh my God, there's things the man can do with whips, and he is so nice to look at. He is basically like Wesley from Princess Bride. He looks like that, just dark haired. And if you're not sure what he looks like and you want to know, I think every year that I've gone to that Renaissance Festival, I have taken pictures of him, this year included, and they will be on my Facebook page, and they may not be on my Instagram. They'll be more on my Facebook page in a folder, so you can see what he looks like. But the skills that he has are incredible, and he's funny. So he makes the show goes by so quickly, and the things he can do with fire is impressive. He's hot in more ways than one. Ha ha ha! Get it? Anyway, going on that tangent with the fire and the hotness, Adamo Ignis, I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly. This is a beautiful woman, and I know I ranted about her before in a good way. She's gorgeous to look at, and she's a fire mistress, and the things she does with fire, oh my God. And you kind of have to watch both her and the fire at the same time, and I don't know which is more alluring. She's excellent to watch. Then there's Shakespeare Approves. I love seeing Shakespeare stuff every time that I go to the Renaissance Festival. They make it fun, but it's intelligent. So when you see Shakespeare at the New Jersey Renaissance Festival, he's quirky, funny, but you're learning stuff too. And you may not realize it. You may not realize it until you walk away that, oh, hey, look, I just learned something. But he's excellent to watch. Those are like my top 3 things to see on the sideshow type of things. I also saw, I'm trying to think of the other one. I think it was Lords of Adventure. Yeah, Lords of Adventure was the other show that I happened to walk in on. They were funny. They were fun to watch. So there was only the first time that I saw them, so I can't give like a full review over the years, but they were a good laugh. Okay, then you had the main shows. And this is where things got a little hinky for me. I don't need virtue signaling in my Renaissance Fair. I mean, I want things to be fair, and I want the actors to all get a chance and things like that, but I don't need to be browbeaten with stuff. And unfortunately, the New Jersey Renaissance Festival started doing that with feminism. And as many of you know, me and feminism are not friends. And the problem was that there were 2 ways of showing equality. at this Renaissance Festival. And one way is the way I like. Equality is equality. It means the women could do the same exact things as the men, and there should be no questions about it. And they did it very well in the joust. They one of the jousters, and I think that's the right term. One of the people who was jousting was a knight, and she was female. And they didn't make any big deal about it. She was just a female knight. And the way you knew that, besides, well, looking at her, was that her opponent would call her by the female pronoun. And that was it. And no one blinked an eye. And she was a good guy, so she whooped his ass, which I was a little upset about because he was hot. And I tend to root for the bad guy because, you know, we bad guys got to stick together. But that's the way to do it. You know, you have female knights, you have female squires, you have Queen Elizabeth right there. You have the Duchess of, I want to say Northumberland, why is that in my head? Of the kingdom that you're in. You have women there. The two princes of the Ottoman Empire had their sister, and she really could have done a lot more, and unfortunately, for some reason, they had her in the chess tournament, and she took the path of peace instead of fighting. And I was so bummed by that because she looked like she could have taken some of the guys on single-handedly, and I would have loved to see that. But anyway, that's one way that you do equality and feminism, is by, you know, having women around. And then there's the feminist way of doing feminism, which is a way I cannot stand. And they did that during the Tournament of Virtues, which was the sword fighting. And I love watching the sword fighting. I love the whole premise of, you know, men and women fighting each other with swords. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's pretty basic. And there's always a bad guy. And I like the subtlety, and I don't know if it was done on purpose or not, but I like the subtlety at the Ren Faire that the bad guy, the big bad in this tournament was a Green Knight. And I mean, I don't know if they were purposely paying homage to the Green Knight in the Arthurian legends, but that's how I took it. And I like that. But I mean, he was big. He was a big guy, big broad shoulders, whooped everyone's ass. And then this female comes on the, you know, female knight comes on the scene. And okay, fine. And I know I'm rolling my eyes, and this is no offense to the actress who played this character. This just annoyed me. And it was that she comes in, and instead of just everyone accepting that there's a female knight there, they have to go into this whole thing about how she should be allowed to fight. And she turns to, I don't think it was the Duchess this time. I forgot which female character was the royalty. But she turns to the female royalty and says, haven't you ever wished that you could do something, but were told no because you were a woman? Like, really? Really? Do you really need to bring that in? A, it's the Renaissance. I mean, if you want to go full tilt, you wouldn't be a knight at all. Obviously, it's going to be done anachronistically. So, yes, there could be a female knight there, but why do that? Why have to pummel it into people's heads? That annoyed the heck out of me. And then, at one point, and I was a little further away, so I couldn't hear everything that was said in the dialogue, but at one point, she's supposed to fight someone, and one of the other knights in red and white gets up and says, oh, if you let me, I will handle this. And she steps aside. So then what was that whole rant about, you know, being a female and having the opportunity to do this? And then in the end, of course, she has to fight the big bad. And, you know, she beats him. But she doesn't beat him by herself. All of a sudden, it turns into this thing of boys against girls. Yes, and I said boys against girls. Men against women, whatever. And the women, let's go gather the women together to fight the men. Really? Really? This is the virtue that you want? This is the virtue signaling that you want? You want to tell people that women are going to gather? And let me tell you something. Every fight that I noticed where a woman was involved, not only did she win, because apparently they're not allowed to lose at this point, but she cheated. She either had someone else helping her, or someone came up from behind, or they went for the balls. And I'm like, so apparently the message that you're trying to give is that women can't win unless they cheat. Now, why couldn't it just be like in the joust? She won. That was it. The woman won. Done and done. You could tell this bothered me a little bit. I didn't stay for the whole thing the heat, it was hot. It was really hot. The heat really got to me. So I left after watching the Shakespeare Adventures, A Midsummer Night's Dream. I didn't stay till the end, also because I was a little worried that they were going to have Elizabeth virtue signal also. Because, as you know in history, Elizabeth never gets married. She never chooses a suitor. She stays the Virgin Queen until she dies. And that's when the Tudor line ends. So she didn't choose anyone. So I didn't know how they were going to play this off in the fair. And I was really worried that they were going to do some, I don't need a man thing. And they were going to make it that you had to be beaten over the head again. And so as much as I wanted to stay to see it, I would have been really disappointed if that was the ending. So I left. Does this mean I'm not going back? Of course not. I love this festival. I don't want you to think that I don't. I think this is a nice size festival. I think that it's well organized. There's a lot of food options. There's a lot of things to see and do. This is, I know my notes are all scribbled in there, but I mean, they have a full schedule of events, and it's never that you're forced to go see the storyline that they're showing, or you have to go. I think there's only one or two things that, oh, the day's end, the finale, that's, and the beginning. No, even in the beginning, they had something else going on if you wanted to. But at the end, the day's end is, you know, something that they have everyone see, because they say goodbye and they say, you know, we'll see you next year, blah, blah, blah. Also, one last thing before I go. They had ASL interpreters. Yeah, I said that right. ASL interpreters for everything that I saw. And although it was a little distracting, they were in purple shirts and doing the sign language, except for one who was dressed in garb. At first you would think it would be really distracting, but after a while you just got used to it. And in the Shakespeare Proofs, he actually, you know, pointed them out and talked with them, which I kind of liked too. And there was one point that he makes the audience sing the ABCs, no lie, and you fall for it too when you do it. And then he turns around and he goes, and now I know how to do it in sign language, because she followed along, obviously doing the sign for it. So I found that to be very interesting. It got a little confusing when there were a bunch of people talking and you had different signers signing, but I found it extremely important that that was there. It was something I had never thought of before, that, you know, if a deaf person came to see the show, that they wouldn't know what was going on. So I actually like that. So points up for that. It's a good thing to bring your kids to. They have adult entertainment that they make sure to say, you know, kids aren't allowed to come to this, but there's so many kids events, and there's a whole area that's specifically for kids. And since it was after Memorial Day, there were a lot of kids there. Usually the first weekend there's not, and that's why I usually go the first weekend. But no, it was really good. And yes, I'm going to go back next year, and yes, I will most probably go the first weekend and not plan anything else and go. But I just wanted to do this review mainly because I didn't want people to think that I'm going to be so biased that I'm not going to have a complaint, even though I love an experience. So that's it for now, and unless that conquistador, yes, and I keep fluffing my hair every time I talk about him, unless that conquistador, you know, decides to contact me, and then I'll keep you posted on that. I've noticed that everyone's saying online these days, if you could like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all those things so I could get more followers, so I could do more of this, that would be great. If you have any comments, feel free to post them down below the video, not down below. Anyway, and that's it for now. So let's see. We'll see again, because right now my hand's numb, so who knows if this will actually work. But if you can't be good, be naughty. And if you must be naughty, be safe. Okay? Bye.